Have you noticed how some of the biggest K-drama stars simply vanished? One day they're on every poster, and the next, they disappear without a trace. But what really happened to them? Scandals, personal choices, or just exhaustion from fame? Today we're going to discover where the actors who once dominated Korea's heart are now in 2025, and why they decided to disappear when the world loved them most. For those who lived through the first great Hallyu wave, Bae Yong-jun remains the face of a romanticism that shaped the image of K-dramas across Asia. After peaking with Winter Sonata, he chose a less obvious path. He left the competition for roles and moved behind the scenes, investing, mentoring talent, and managing his own image with complete control. Over the years, his focus shifted from the red carpet to family, privacy, and selective projects. In 2025, there's no indication of a return to screens, and this isn't a sign of crisis. It's consistency with the strategy he's adopted since 2007, when he began appearing sporadically as a producer and institutional figure. What does exist are glimpses that reignite the public's emotional memory, mentions in Korean media, rare records at private events, and eternal curiosity about his routine alongside his wife, Park Soo-jin, and their children. The feeling is that he cultivates his own disappearance as a way of preserving the myth surrounding his name. The less you see, the more you want to see. If he ever accepts a comeback project, it should be something big, international scale, with real creative participation from him in the project. Until then, Bae Yong-jun continues to exist in a place between the past and legend, a king who abdicated the daily throne to reign silently in the memory of those who watched him. And when we talk about disappearing at your peak, we can't fail to mention Won Bin. After marking a generation with the hit Autumn in My Heart, and especially with the cinematic impact of The Man from Nowhere, he retreated to an almost mysterious territory. No dramas, no long interviews, calculated appearances in advertising, and a silence that became his trademark. In 2025, the picture remains. He doesn't confirm acting projects, but he also doesn't break with the public by announcing an official retirement. He prefers small gestures, like specific campaigns, that remind people of his charisma. This scarcity policy works like an hourglass in reverse. The more time passes, the greater the expectation for a return grows. Part of this fascination comes from the fact that he never wore out his own image with excessive exposure, controversies, or anything like that. Another part is the combination of demanding choices with a very personal outlook on career and personal life. The result is a star who seems to live outside the common cycle of promotion, premieres, and television programs. If he decides to return, it will be because he found the right story, in the right format, with the creative control he desires, and not because of market pressure. Until then, Won Bin remains where he's always been since 2010, in a reserved, almost inaccessible plane, which transforms every rumor into a spark and every brief appearance into a small event. Among all the names that mark the golden era of K-dramas, Hye-sun is perhaps the most multifaceted. For an entire generation, she will always be Gyum-jandi, the stubborn and brave girl from Boys Over Flowers, who won hearts alongside Lee Min-ho. But while the public expected her to follow the obvious path to stardom, Hye-sun chose something different. In the following years, she ventured into directing independent films, published books of poetic prose, released albums as a singer, and held visual art exhibitions, transforming herself into a complete artist. After her divorce from actor Ahn Jae-hyun, which placed her under intense public attention, she adopted a calmer pace. In February 2024, she graduated with highest honors from Sungkyunkwan University, and months later was accepted into the prestigious KAIST, where she's pursuing a master's degree in science journalism and engineering, a rare achievement even among Korean students. Today, Hye-sun appears at academic and cultural events, not on film sets. She uses her social media to share thoughts on creativity, philosophy, and the value of silence. Little by little, the actress who was once a symbol of teenage romances became an icon of female autonomy and personal reinvention. In 2025, her disappearance isn't a vanishing act. It's an artistic and existential choice by someone who decided to shine in a different way. As for Han Ga-in, with her pure beauty and serene presence, she has always been one of the most emblematic faces of Korean television. When she starred in Moon Embracing the Sun in 2012, alongside Kim Soo-hyun, she reached a level of fame that few actresses achieve. The series exceeded 40% viewership, and in the same year, the film Architecture 101 confirmed her explosive popularity. But instead of capitalizing on success with new roles, she did the unthinkable. She stopped. Married since 2005 to actor Yeon Jung-hoon, she decided to live away from the frenetic pace of the industry. story, prioritizing her personal life. After facing painful losses, she found happiness in motherhood with the birth of her children in 2016 and 2019. Today, in 2025, Han Ga-eun rarely accepts roles, but her image remains strong. She occasionally appears on variety shows and interviews, always conveying the same calm, mature, and confident aura. The public no longer sees her as the actress who stepped away, but as someone who knew how to choose her own path, redefining what success means. Han Ga-eun didn't disappear from the scene. She simply transformed the stage into home and stardom into fulfillment. Few actresses in Korea have a trajectory as intriguing as Kim Min-hee. She started young, in productions like School 2, and quickly stood out for her natural elegance and ability to transform the ordinary into art. Unlike many colleagues who remained in the comfort of television dramas, Kim Min-hee followed another path, that of auteur cinema. Between the years 2010 and 2015, she completely reinvented herself with performances in films like Right Now, Wrong Then, and, especially, The Handmaiden, a work that consecrated her worldwide and earned her the Best Actress award at the Berlin Festival. She seemed unbeatable, until her personal life intertwined with that of director Hong Sang-soo, who was married at the time. In 2017, the relationship became public, and Korea, conservative as it is, reacted. Her mainstream career practically closed. But unlike many who retreat, Kim Min-hee stood firm. She became the muse and creative partner of Hong, starring in almost all of his films since then, including On the Beach at Night Alone, the novelist's film, and In Water. She also works as a producer and assistant director. In 2025, Kim Min-hee lives a discreet life, away from the media and social networks. They live together, alternating between Seoul and small coastal towns, where they film at their own pace. From time to time, rumors emerge about a child, but nothing is confirmed. Still, her films continue to be shown at international festivals, celebrated by critics and filmmakers. She may have been lost to the general public, but cinema, especially art cinema, gained a figure who prefers the silent respect of creation to the fleeting euphoria of fame. In the 2000s, Yoon Eun-hye was synonymous with success and charisma. A member of the girl group Baby VOX, she gained fame as a teenager, but it was in acting that she became unforgettable. Her role in Princess Hours in 2006 and shortly after in Coffee Prince in 2007 transformed her into one of Asia's biggest stars. The public loved her for the naturalness and genuine energy she transmitted. She seemed destined to dominate the K-drama scene for decades. But life in the industry isn't linear. After disagreements with her former agency and a controversial plagiarism accusation on a fashion program in China, Yoon's career went on pause. In the following years, she attempted several comebacks, but the Korean media machine is relentless. The actress, however, never really disappeared. She reinvented herself in other areas, studied directing, participated in variety shows, and even returned to music, surprising fans by re-debuting in 2022 with the WSG Wannabe project, which achieved success and reignited nostalgia for her idol days. In 2025, Yoon Eun-hye maintains a light presence on social media. She shares cooking videos, moments with friends, and messages of faith and gratitude. Although she's not actively acting, many fans continue to call for her return. And there are rumors that she's analyzing scripts for a streaming production aimed at international audiences. For quite some time, Jisoo was the type of actor the public saw as the good soul of K-dramas, that second lead who always suffered in silence but won hearts with his sincerity. He shined in titles like Angry Mom, Scarlet Heart, Rio, and Strong Woman Do Bong-soon, creating an image of rare sensitivity among the heartthrobs of the new generation. In 2021, everything indicated he would finally have his big moment. The lead role in River Where the Moon Rises seemed to be the turning point of his career. But fate, as so often in the Korean industry, was merciless. At the height of the series broadcast, accusations of inappropriate behavior during his school years emerged, and the repercussion was devastating. Jisoo ended up leaving the production and completely disappeared from the radar. What few knew is that, behind the scenes, he personally apologized to former classmates and sought to rebuild bridges. Instead of attempting a public defense, he chose silence and work. He completed his mandatory military service and at the end made a bold decision to start over outside of Korea. In 2024, Jisoo signed a contract with the Philippine network GMA Network, joining the Sparkle Group, and began acting in local productions in English and Tagalog. The Filipino public received him with warmth and curiosity, transforming what seemed like the end of a career into a new beginning. Now, in 2025, Jisoo divides his time between Manila and Seoul, maintaining a calm and reserved routine. He rarely gives interviews, but those who meet him describe someone more mature and serene, with the look of someone who has lived a story of learning. His disappearance no longer sounds like exile, but rather like a movement of healing, a necessary distance so that both the actor and the man could reconcile. Today, Jisoo doesn't seek applause, he seeks meaning, and perhaps that's why his absence still speaks so loudly.